The massive space station called Kepler Prime floated in the darkness between 3 star systems. Ships from dozens of different worlds docked at its ports every day. Today was special. The Galactic Trade Consortium was holding its biggest meeting of the year. Inside the main hall, creatures of all shapes and sizes sat in rows of seats. Some had scales, others had fur. A few floated in tanks of water. All of them were there to talk about one thing. Should humans be allowed to join their group? Ambassador Kethver of the Zephyrian people stood at the speaker's podium. He was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large black eyes. His kind had been watching space for thousands of years. They were known for being careful and thinking before they spoke. "Fellow members," Kethver said, his voice calm and steady, "we are here to discuss the human application for membership. I have watched these beings for many years. They have been traveling between stars for only 50 years, yet they already control 3 whole star systems." A creature with thick gray skin and small eyes stood up from the audience. "Yes, and they do it with primitive ships. Their technology is hundreds of years behind ours. What threat could they possibly be?" Kepler's expression did not change. "That is exactly why I must warn you. Do not test their ships. Do not challenge them in space. If you do, you will regret it." The hall buzzed with confused voices. The Drax delegates laughed loudest of all. Captain Prime Vorth was their leader. He was a giant of a creature, covered in thick black armor. Scars crossed his face from many battles. He had conquered 17 different worlds. "With respect, Elder Kethver," Vorth said, standing up slowly. "The Drax have been fighting wars since before humans discovered fire. We have seen their ships. Metal hulls, basic energy weapons, simple shields. They look like toys compared to our vessels." Other delegates nodded in agreement. The Thorian representative clicked her claws together. "Our scanners show nothing special about human technology. Their weapons are weak. Their armor is thin. What makes you so afraid of them?" Kethver was quiet for a long moment. His black eyes seemed to look far away, as if he was remembering something unpleasant. "Their ships are not what they appear to be," he said finally. "Humans think about war differently than we do. They have never stopped fighting, even after they reached the stars." "Impossible," said the Altarian delegate. "No species fights wars in space. It is too expensive, too dangerous. Once a people reach the stars, they learn cooperation." "Not humans," Kethver replied. "My people have been listening to their radio signals for over 100 years. We have watched their history. They fight each other constantly. Even now, as we speak, human space is divided into 3 different groups that hate each other." The hall fell silent. This was new information. Most species did fight among themselves, but only until they learned to travel between stars. Space was too big and dangerous for war. Vorth laughed, a sound like grinding stone. "Even better. If they are busy fighting each other, they will be weak and divided. We have nothing to fear from a species that cannot even make peace with itself." At that moment, the doors to the hall opened. A human walked in. She was small compared to most of the aliens in the room, with dark hair and brown skin. She wore a simple blue uniform with no weapons visible. "I apologize for being late," the human said. "I am Ambassador Chun, representing the Earth Federation, Mars Colonial Union, and Outer System Alliance." Vorth stared at her. "You represent all 3 human groups? I thought you were at war with each other." Chun smiled, but it was not a warm smile. "We are, but we agree on one thing: how to deal with outside threats. We prefer to join your consortium peacefully. We want to trade, to learn, to share knowledge." "And if we refuse?" asked the Thorian delegate. Chun's smile faded. Her voice became very quiet. Then we will defend ourselves. Something about the way she said the word defend made the room feel colder. Kethver nodded slowly, as if Chun had just proved his point. You see? The Zephyrian said. Even their diplomats speak like soldiers. Do not test them. But Vorth was not impressed. He had faced down creatures twice his size, conquered worlds with billion-year-old civilizations. This small human did not frighten him. We Dracs have a saying, he announced. Strength must be tested. How else can we know who is weak and who is strong? Chun looked directly at him. Her brown eyes were calm and steady. Captain Prime Vorth, I know your reputation. You are a great warrior who has won many battles. But I hope you will listen to Elder Kethver's advice. Why? Vorth demanded. What makes human ships so special? What do you have that we should fear? Chun was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was sad. We have experience, Captain Prime. We know how to fight real wars. We know how to build ships that can take damage and keep fighting. We know how to hurt enemies without them knowing we are there. She paused and looked around the room. Most of all, we know how to kill quickly and efficiently. We have been practicing on each other for thousands of years. The hall was completely silent now. Even the water-breathing delegates had stopped moving. But, Chun continued, her voice becoming warmer, we would rather be friends. We want to trade with you, learn from you, share our knowledge. All we ask is that you treat us with respect. Vorth stood up again. Respect must be earned, human. Words are easy. Actions prove strength. Kethver made a sound that might have been a sigh. Captain Prime, please reconsider. My people are very old and very careful. We do not give warnings lightly. Your people are also very fearful, Vorth replied. The Dracs do not cower from unknown threats. If these humans want respect, they must prove they deserve it. Chun nodded slowly. I understand, Captain Prime. I hope you will remember this conversation. The meeting ended with no decision. The humans would have to wait while the consortium discussed their application. As the delegates filed out, Kethver approached Chun. I tried to warn them, he said quietly. Chun looked tired. I know, Elder. Thank you for trying. I hope it does not come to violence. So do I, Kethver replied. But I have studied your people for many years. I know what happens when someone tests human patience. Chun said nothing. She just walked away, leaving Kethver alone with his dark thoughts. 3 weeks after the meeting at Kepler Prime, Captain Prime Vorth sat in his command chair aboard the battleship Conquest's Edge. The massive vessel was the pride of the Drax fleet. Its thick armor could survive direct hits from planet-killing weapons. Its guns could crack moons in half. Status report, Vorth commanded. His second-in-command, Sub-Captain Drac, checked his instruments. All ships ready, sir. 4 heavy cruisers in formation behind us. We are approaching the edge of human space. Vorth smiled. His teeth were sharp and yellow. Excellent. Today we will see what makes these humans so special. The plan was simple. Vorth would conduct what he called a routine patrol inspection of human shipping lanes near the frontier world of New Geneva. It was perfectly legal under Galactic law. Any military force could inspect civilian ships for contraband or safety violations. Of course, the real purpose was to test human reactions. Vorth wanted to see how they responded to pressure. Would they run? Would they beg? Would they fight back with their primitive weapons? Sir, the sensor operator called out. We have contacts, 3 cargo ships and 1 escort vessel. Display them, Vorth ordered. The main screen showed 4 ships moving slowly through space. 3 were large and boxy, clearly designed for carrying cargo. The 4th was smaller and sleeker, obviously a military escort. All 4 ships looked old and basic compared to Drax vessels. Hail the escort ship, Worth commanded. A human face appeared on the screen. It was a woman with short red hair and green eyes. She wore a blue uniform with captain's stripes on her shoulders. "This is Captain Sarah Rodriguez of the HSF Determination," she said. "How can I help you?" Worth leaned forward in his chair. "I am Captain Prime Worth of the Drax Hegemony. Under Galactic law, I demand immediate inspection of all vessels in this convoy." Captain Rodriguez was quiet for a moment. Her expression did not change. "Captain Prime Worth, I will need to contact my superiors before we can comply with that request. Please maintain minimum safe distance while I send a message to Fleet Command." "Minimum safe distance?" Worth laughed. "My ships are the most advanced in the galaxy. We fear nothing from your primitive vessels." "I'm sure that's true, sir," Rodriguez replied politely. "But safety protocols exist for good reasons. I'm sure you understand." Something about her calm tone irritated Worth. He was used to creatures cowering when they saw Drax warships. This human seemed completely unafraid. "Move the fleet closer," he ordered his navigator. "I want those cargo ships to understand we are serious." As the Drax ships moved forward, something interesting happened. The three human cargo vessels did not try to run away. Instead, they moved into a triangular formation around the Determination. Their captains started talking to each other on open radio channels. "This is New Hope moving to position Alpha. Star Trader confirmed, taking position Beta. Golden Eagle in position Gamma. All stations report ready." Sub-Captain Drac frowned at his instruments. "Sir, those cargo captains are using military coordination protocols." Worth was also confused. "What do you mean?" "They are moving like trained warship crews, not civilian merchants," Drac explained. "Look at their formation. It is designed for mutual defense and overlapping fields of fire." "Impossible," Worth said. "Our intelligence reports say they are simple cargo haulers." But even as he spoke, Worth could see something was wrong. The way the ships moved was too precise, too coordinated. These were not frightened civilians. They moved like soldiers. "Sir," the communications officer said, "the human captain is requesting we back away to 10,000 kilometers." Worth's anger flared. "Back away? From cargo ships? Absolutely not. Move us closer to 2,000 kilometers." "Sir," Drac said. "Carefully. Perhaps we should. Are you questioning my orders?" Worth roared. "No, sir. Moving to 2,000 kilometers." As the Drac ships closed the distance, Captain Rodriguez appeared on screen again. This time, her expression was different. She looked sad, almost disappointed. "Captain Prime Worth," she said, "I strongly recommend you maintain distance while I complete contact with my superiors." "I do not take orders from humans," Worth snarled. "You will submit to inspection immediately or face the consequences." Rodriguez sighed. "Sir, my superiors have authorized me to take all necessary measures to protect this convoy. This is your last chance to withdraw to safe distance." Worth had heard enough. This tiny human was trying to threaten him. 5 Drax warships against 3 cargo ships and 1 escort. It was laughable. "Fire a warning shot across their escort's bow," he commanded. "Sir?" His weapons officer hesitated. "That would be an act of aggression." "It is a warning," Worth corrected. "Fire." A bright beam of energy shot out from Conquest's edge. It passed just in front of the Determination, close enough to make the point clear. The human captain's face appeared on screen one last time. Her green eyes were completely cold now. "Drax vessels," she said. "You have committed an act of aggression against Earth fleet assets. We are now authorized to defend ourselves." She paused. "Last warning. Withdraw immediately." Worth laughed so hard his whole body shook. "Defend yourselves? With what? Your ships look like scrap metal compared to ours." Rodriguez cut the communication without another word. "Sir," Drax said quietly, "something is happening to the cargo ships." Vorth looked at the screen. The 3 human cargo vessels were changing. Panels were sliding open on their hulls. What looked like storage compartments were revealing something else entirely. "Those are weapon ports," the sensor operator said, his voice shocked. "Those cargo ships have hidden military-grade weapons." Vorth stared in disbelief. "That's impossible. Our scans showed civilian vessels." "The weapons were hidden behind false panels," Drax explained. "Designed to fool our sensors?" More panels opened. More weapons appeared. The 3 cargo ships now looked very different. They still had the basic shape of merchant vessels, but their hidden armaments were clearly visible. "Sir," the weapons officer called out, "I'm reading enough firepower on those 3 ships to level a city." Vorth felt his first moment of doubt, but he had gone too far to back down now. "All ships, prepare for combat. Target their weapons and engines. Disable but do not destroy." "Sir," Drax said urgently, "perhaps we should reconsider." "Fire," Vorth commanded. The battle was about to begin, but it would not go the way Captain Prime Vorth expected. The humans had been preparing for this moment since the day they first left Earth. They knew exactly how to fight enemies who underestimated them, and they were very, very good at it. The first shots from the Drax warships lit up space like lightning. 5 beams of concentrated energy struck the HSFS Determination directly. The small human escort ship should have been vaporized instantly. Instead, something impossible happened. The Determination absorbed the hits and kept flying. Its shields flared bright blue but held firm. More shocking still, the ship responded immediately with devastating precision. "Impossible!" Sub-Captain Drax shouted, staring at his instruments. "Their shields just absorbed our main battery." But Captain Prime Vorth had no time to think about defense. The human frigate's weapons were already firing back. Bright red beams struck the Drax heavy cruiser Iron Fist with surgical precision. The Iron Fist exploded, not disabled, not damaged, completely destroyed a ball of superheated metal and plasma. "How?" Vorth whispered. "Their weapons are supposed to be primitive." The answer came quickly. The 3 cargo ships opened fire at the same time. What emerged from their hidden weapon ports was not primitive at all. Advanced beam weapons, guided missiles, and particle cannons struck the remaining Drax ships with terrifying accuracy. The heavy cruiser, Sword of Victory, lost all power in seconds. Its main reactor went offline. Life support failed. Emergency lights flickered on as the massive ship went dead in space. "Sir," the sensor operator yelled, "they're not trying to destroy us. They're targeting specific systems." Vorth looked at the battle display. The human weapons were hitting exactly what they wanted to hit. Engine modules, weapon systems, shield generators. Nothing else. They could have killed everyone aboard all 5 ships in the first volley, but they chose not to. Why aren't they finishing us off? Drax wondered. The answer came from Captain Rodriguez. Her face appeared on screen again. She looked calm and professional, as if she was discussing the weather instead of commanding a battle. "Drax vessels," she said. "You are firing on civilian cargo ships under military escort. This constitutes an act of war. Cease fire immediately, or we will be forced to disable your remaining ships." Vorth's pride would not let him surrender. "All ships continue firing. Target their engines." The second exchange was even worse for the Drax. The humans seemed to know exactly where to aim. The heavy cruiser Deathstrike lost its main guns. The cruiser Vengeance started spinning out of control as its navigation systems failed. But the worst part was the precision. Every shot hit exactly where the humans wanted it to hit. They were not lucky. They were not using superior technology. They were simply better at fighting. "Sir," the communications officer said, his voice shaking, "the Death Strike is requesting permission to surrender." "Denied," Vorth roared. "Dracs do not surrender to inferior enemies." That was when Captain Rodriguez did something that would haunt Vorth's dreams for years to come. She opened a direct channel to every ship in the Drax fleet. "Attention, Drax crews," she said calmly. "Your Captain Prime has chosen to continue this fight. We respect his courage, but we will not allow him to waste your lives unnecessarily." Then she did something no warrior in galactic history had ever done. She told her enemies exactly how she was going to defeat them. "Conquest's Edge, we will disable your main guns first, then your engines. Vengeance, your reactor will be shut down in 30 seconds to prevent a core breach. Death Strike, your life support will remain intact, but your weapons are already offline." As she spoke, the human ships did exactly what she said they would do. The Conquest's Edge lost its main battery. The Vengeance went dark as its reactors safely shut down. Every prediction came true with terrifying accuracy. "How do they know our ship design so well?" Drac asked. Vorth was beginning to understand, but the truth was too horrible to accept. "They studied us. Before we came here, they already knew everything about our ships." The final insult came when the 3 cargo ships revealed their true nature. As their disguise panels fell away completely, Vorth could see what they really were. Military vessels designed to look like merchants. Every single component was built for war, hidden behind false bulkheads and fake cargo containers. "Q-ships," Drac whispered. "They're Q-ships." Vorth knew the term. Q-ships were warships disguised as civilian vessels. They were used to fool enemies into attacking what looked like easy targets. But no military in the galaxy used them anymore. They were considered dishonorable, a coward's weapon. Except humans apparently did not care about honor when their lives were at stake. "Sir," the weapons officer reported, "we have lost 70% of our offensive capability. All other ships are either destroyed or disabled." Captain Rodriguez appeared on screen one last time. Behind her, Vorth could see her bridge crew working calmly and efficiently. They looked like they had done this 1,000 times before. "Captain Prime Vorth," she said, "your remaining vessels are disabled but intact. Your crews are alive. We are transmitting towing vectors to escort you out of human space. Your wounded will receive full medical attention." Vorth's hands shook with rage and shame. "Why? Why do you not finish us?" Rodriguez actually smiled, but it was a sad smile. "Because we are not monsters, Captain Prime. We know what it is like to lose friends in battle. We will not kill unless we have no choice." She paused and looked directly into the camera. "But understand this, what happened here today was not our best effort. These are patrol ships, not our main battle fleet. The next time someone tests us, we might not be so gentle." The transmission ended. Within an hour, human tugs arrived to pull the disabled Drac ships to the edge of human space. The crews were professional and polite. They provided medical aid and emergency supplies without being asked as the Conquest's Edge was towed away. Sub-Captain Drac asked the question that everyone was thinking. "Sir, what do we tell the hegemony? How do we explain that 5 heavy cruisers were defeated by 3 disguised cargo ships and 1 escort?" Vorth stared out the viewports at the stars. For the first time in his life, he felt old and tired. "We tell them the truth, Drac. We tell them that the Zephyrians were right. Human ships are unique." He paused. "And we tell them that anyone who tests them again will regret it even more than we do." In the distance, the human ships were already back in formation, continuing their patrol as if nothing had happened. To them, this had been just another day at work, but for the Drac's hegemony, everything had changed. The galaxy's most feared military force had been humbled by creatures they thought were primitive. Word would spread quickly, and other species would have to decide. Was it worth testing the humans to find out if the Drax were just unlucky? Or was Captain Rodriguez right when she said this was not their best effort? News of the Drax defeat spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Within hours, every military command center from the core worlds to the rim territories was analyzing the same impossible data. 5 Drax heavy cruisers defeated by 3 human cargo ships and 1 escort vessel. 0 human casualties. Complete tactical victory. Admiral Zethkal of the Altarian Defense Fleet stared at the combat recordings for the 5th time. His blue-scaled fingers traced patterns on his command console as he tried to understand what he had witnessed. Analysis complete, his intelligence officer reported. The human weapons show no advanced technology. Their shields are standard deflector arrays. Their hulls are basic metal alloys. Then how? Admiral Zethkal demanded. How did they achieve such devastating effectiveness? The answer began to emerge from an unexpected source. Dr. Lythera, a xenopsychology specialist studying human behavior, had been monitoring human communication networks for months. Her findings would shock the galactic community. "Admiral," she said, her tentacles trembling with excitement, "I have discovered something extraordinary about human society. They never stop fighting each other." "What do you mean?" Dr. Lythera displayed her data on the main screen. Human space is divided into 3 major factions: the Earth Federation, Mars Colonial Union, and Outer System Alliance. They are currently in a state of Cold War. They have been for decades. The Admiral's scales changed color, a sign of confusion. Impossible. No species maintains warfare after achieving interstellar flight. The costs are too high. That is what we assumed, Dr. Lythera agreed. But humans are different. They build every ship as if it might face combat at any moment. Their civilian vessels carry military-grade weapons because human space is essentially a war zone. More evidence came from intercepted human military transmissions. Intelligence analysts across the galaxy worked frantically to decode human tactical communications. What they found was terrifying. The ships that defeated the Drax were not even frontline military vessels. They were classified in human databases as light patrol craft, conducting routine escort duties. Commander Brickstale of Thorian Intelligence presented his findings to the Galactic Security Council. His claws clicked nervously against the podium as he spoke. The human vessels carried standard patrol equipment, he reported. But their standard includes weapons that could destroy our heaviest battleships. Their light patrol craft has more firepower than our fleet flagship. How is this possible? Demanded Counselor Verndock. Because they designed their ships to fight other humans, Brickstall explained. Human technology may look primitive to us, but it is optimized for actual combat. They have been testing their weapons against ships of equal capability for 50 years. The revelation got worse. Refugee reports from human space revealed the truth about their peaceful cargo convoys. Every merchant ship was actually a Q-ship, a warship disguised as a civilian vessel. They had to be, because human pirates and raiders were common threats. Their entire merchant fleet is militarized, Dr. Lythera continued. Every captain has combat training. Every crew knows how to fight. They do not distinguish between military and civilian operations the way we do. But the most disturbing discovery was yet to come. A captured human tactical manual, obtained through diplomatic channels, revealed the truth about human space doctrine. Admiral Hayes of Earthfleet finally agreed to speak to the Galactic Assembly via secure transmission. His image appeared on screens throughout the galaxy. He was an older human with gray hair and tired eyes. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of experience. "You want to know why our ships are so effective?" he asked, Because we build them to survive real wars. Not border skirmishes or territorial disputes. Real wars where billions die and planets burn. The alien delegates listened in shocked silence. Every human ship is designed with redundant systems because we expect them to take catastrophic damage and keep fighting, Admiral Hayes continued. Our weapons are precise because we fight in populated systems where missing your target means killing innocent civilians. He paused and looked directly into the camera. Our crews are trained to the highest standards because in human space, if you are not good at fighting, you die. Counselor Verndock found his voice. But surely your recent space conflicts have been minor affairs? Patrol actions and police work? Admiral Hayes laughed, but it was not a pleasant sound. 3 months ago, the Mars Colonial Union and Earth Federation fought a battle near Jupiter that involved over 300 warships. 50,000 people died in 6 hours. The silence that followed was complete. 2 weeks later, Hayes continued. Both fleets had to work together to fight off an outer system alliance raid on the Europa mining colonies. That is normal for us. We fight each other constantly, but we unite against outside threats. Dr. Life Era's research team had discovered something else. Human military doctrine was unlike anything in galactic history. Most species fought wars to conquer territory or resources. Humans fought wars to completely destroy their enemy's ability to fight back. They call it total war, she explained to the Security Council. When humans fight, they do not aim to capture ships or territory. They aim to eliminate enemy forces completely. They have words for this: annihilation, obliteration, total victory. The implications were staggering. When the Drax attacked what they thought was a cargo convoy, they expected a brief skirmish. The humans responded with overwhelming force, designed to end the fight permanently. Look at the battle again, Commander Brickstall said, displaying the tactical data. The humans could have destroyed all 5 Drax ships in the first volley. Instead, they chose to disable them. This was mercy, not inability. Admiral Zethkal studied the patterns of human weapons fire. Every shot hit exactly where it was intended to hit. Engine systems, weapon arrays, shield generators, all targeted with surgical precision. They were not fighting to win, he realized. They were fighting to teach a lesson. The final piece of the puzzle came from Captain Prime Vorth himself. Still recovering from his defeat, he agreed to share his experience with Galactic intelligence. The human captain told us exactly what she was going to do before she did it, he admitted. She warned us about her weapons, explained how the battle would proceed, even offered us chances to withdraw. She did not want to fight us. Then why did they win so decisively? Asked his interviewer. Vorth's scarred face showed pain that went deeper than physical wounds. Because when we forced them to fight, they fought the way they always fight, to win completely and permanently. They have been practicing this for centuries. The interview concluded with Vorth's most chilling observation. What defeated us was not their best ships or their most experienced crews. The human captain called it a routine patrol. If that was routine for them, what do their actual warships look like? The galaxy would soon find out. Admiral Hayes' final statement to the assembly left no doubt about human capabilities. What Captain Rodriguez and her convoy did to the Drax fleet, he said calmly, that was our equivalent of a mail run. If you want to see our actual warships, please don't. As the transmission ended, military leaders across the galaxy began making urgent revisions to their threat assessments. The humans were not just another species seeking membership in the galactic community. They were a warrior race that had never stopped perfecting the art of war, and they were now everyone's neighbors. 6 months after the Drax defeat, the galaxy had reluctantly adapted to a new reality. Human space was no longer considered a frontier region populated by primitive newcomers. It was now classified as a major military power that no sane commander would challenge. The Galactic Trade Consortium met again on Kepler Prime, but this time the atmosphere was very different. Where before there had been curiosity and mild concern about human membership, now there was careful respect. Ambassador Chun sat in the front row, wearing the same simple blue uniform she had worn months earlier. But the way other delegates looked at her had changed completely. They spoke to her with the careful politeness reserved for dangerous allies. Elder Kepler of the Zephyrians took his place at the speaker's podium. His pale blue skin seemed to glow under the hall's lights as he addressed the assembly. "Fellow members," he said, "we gather today to formally vote on human membership in the Galactic Trade Consortium. Before we proceed, I would like to address the recent incidents in human space." The hall was completely quiet. Everyone knew what he meant by incidents. "My people warned you that humans were different," Kepler continued. "We tried to explain that their ships were not what they appeared to be. Some of you chose not to listen." He looked directly at the section where Drax delegates usually sat. Today, those seats were empty. The entire Drax hegemony had withdrawn their application to attend consortium meetings. They claimed they were restructuring their military doctrine. "The Drax made the mistake of testing human resolve," Kepler said sadly. "They discovered that humans do not bluff, do not exaggerate, and do not make empty threats. When a human warns you, they are giving you valuable information. Ignore it at your own risk." Captain Prime Vorth was no longer Captain Prime of anything. He now commanded a single patrol vessel on the very edge of Drax space. The humiliation had broken his career, but it had also taught him wisdom. His testimony to the galactic intelligence community had been crucial in understanding human capabilities. "The humans could have killed us all," he had told his interrogators. "Instead, they chose mercy. But it was the kind of mercy a parent shows to a foolish child, painful but educational." The vote on human membership was unanimous. No delegate was willing to risk angering a species that treated devastating military victories as routine patrols. But the consortium demanded one condition. Ambassador Chen listened carefully as it was explained. Human military vessels must display clear identification when operating in international space, announced Councillor Verndok. "Your practice of disguising warships as civilian craft makes other species nervous." Chun nodded politely. "The Earth Federation, Mars Colonial Union, and Outer System Alliance have agreed to this condition. Our Q ships will only operate in human space or during times of declared emergency." She paused and smiled, but several delegates noticed it was not entirely a warm smile. "Of course, our definition of emergency may be broader than yours." The ceremony concluded with the formal presentation of consortium membership documents. As Chun signed the agreement, she spoke to the assembled delegates. "Humanity is honored to join this ancient and respected organization," she said. "We look forward to peaceful trade and cultural exchange with all member species." Her words were diplomatic and proper, but everyone in the hall remembered her earlier warning about defending human interests. Later that day, a young analyst working for consortium intelligence made a disturbing discovery. She had been reviewing human ship classifications, trying to understand their military structure. Ensign Dalat, a recent graduate from the Altarian Naval Academy, stared at her computer screen in growing horror. The data she was seeing could not be correct. The ships that had defeated 5 Drax heavy cruisers were classified in human databases as patrol frigates. Their weapons were listed as standard escort armament. The Q ships were rated as light cargo defenders. But there were other classifications in the human database. Ships labeled as battle cruisers, fleet, destroyers, and assault carriers. These vessels carried weapons described as planet killers and fleet breakers. Ensign Duluth checked her translations 3 times. The words meant exactly what she thought they meant. "Sir," she called to her supervisor, "I think we have a problem." Commander Thexcall came over to look at her screen. His expression slowly changed from curiosity to alarm. "Are you certain these translations are accurate?" he asked. "Yes, sir. The humans have ships they call planet killers. They are not using metaphors. These vessels are designed to destroy entire worlds." The implications hit both of them at the same time. If the ships that defeated the Drax were just patrol frigates, what would happen if someone provoked humanity enough to deploy their actual battle fleet? Meanwhile, in a small tavern near Kepler Prime's docking base, a very different conversation was taking place. Captain Prime Vorth sat across from a young Drax officer named Lieutenant Brechtal. The lieutenant was eager to hear first-hand accounts of the battle. "Sir," Brechtal said, "my instructors at the academy want to know, could we have won if we had brought more ships?" Vorth was quiet for a long time. He sipped his drink and stared out the viewport at the stars. Finally, he spoke. "Lieutenant, do you see that human convoy passing by?" Brechtal looked out the window. 3 ordinary-looking cargo haulers were moving past the station, escorted by a single frigate. Their crews moved with quiet efficiency as they prepared for departure. "Yes, sir." "Just merchant ships. Look at them carefully," Vorth said. "Watch how they move. See how the crews coordinate their actions. Notice that the civilian captains respond to the escort's commands like trained military personnel." Brechtal watched more closely. He began to see what his former commander meant. The cargo ships moved in perfect formation. Their crews worked with military precision. The escort captain gave brief orders that were instantly obeyed. "They look like soldiers," Brechtal observed. "They are soldiers," Vorth confirmed. "Every single human in space is trained for combat. Their merchant captains have more battle experience than our fleet admirals. Their cargo handlers know more about weapon systems than our gunnery sergeants." He finished his drink and stood up. "You asked if we could have won with more ships. The answer is no, Lieutenant. We could have brought 100 ships and lost them all just as quickly. But, sir, surely our best ships would have lasted longer," Vorth interrupted. "Maybe 10 minutes instead of 5. But the result would have been the same." As they prepared to leave, a news report appeared on the tavern screens. It showed human ships conducting routine training exercises near Mars. The vessels moved through complex maneuvers with frightening precision. Their weapons fired in perfect synchronization, creating patterns of destruction that looked like deadly artwork. "Remember this moment, Lieutenant," Vorth said as they watched. "Remember what it feels like to see real warriors at work. Then pray to whatever gods you believe in that humanity never decides the Drax hegemony is a threat to their peace." The report ended with a statement from Admiral Hayes. "These exercises represent normal training activities for our patrol squadrons. No special equipment or elite units were involved." Brechtal stared at the screen. If that was normal training, what do their elite units look like? Vorth put a hand on the young officer's shoulder. "I hope we never find out." As they left the tavern, the human convoy was disappearing into hyperspace. To most observers, it looked like 3 ordinary cargo ships going about their business. But Vorth now knew the truth. Those cargo ships carried enough hidden firepower to sterilize a planet. Their crews could coordinate battle tactics that would impress the best military minds in the galaxy. And to them, this was just another ordinary day. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humans were unique, not because they had better technology or superior weapons. They were dangerous because they had never stopped preparing for war. Every human ship was a warship. Every human crew was a military unit. Every human merchant convoy was a potential fleet action waiting to happen. And now they were everyone's neighbors. The smart species, would remember the warnings. The foolish ones would learn the hard way. But either way, the galaxy would never underestimate humans again.